We're live. Perfect. Character. But aren't there some naturals? Athletes who really seem to have it from the start. Yes. And as it was for Billy Bean and Joe McEnroe, sometimes it's a course. With all the praise for their talent and with how little they need to work or stretch themselves, they can easily fall into a fixed mindset. Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, 1976 Olympic gold medalist. For their talent and with how little they need to work or stretch. Mute your microphone, please. Okay. A 1976 Olympic gold medalist in the decathlon says, if I wasn't dyslexic, I probably wouldn't have won the games. If I had been a better reader, then that would have come easily. Sports would have come easily, and I never would have realized that the way you get ahead in life is hard work. The naturals, carried away with their superiority, don't learn how to work hard or how to cope with setbacks. This is the story of Pedro Martinez, the brilliant pitcher then with the Boston Red Sox, who self-destructed when they needed him most. But it's an even larger story too, a story about character. A group of sports writers from the New York Times and the Boston Globe were on the Delta shuttle to Boston. So was I. They were headed to Game 3 of the 2003 American League Playoffs series between the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. They were talking about character, and they all agreed, the Boston writers reluctantly, that the Yankees had it. Among other things, they remembered that the Yankees had done for New York 2 years before. It was October 2001, and New Yorkers had just lived through September 11. I was there, and we were devastated. We needed some hope. The city needed the Yankees to go for it, to go for the World Series, but the Yankees had lived through it too, and they were injured and exhausted. They seemed to have nothing left. I don't know where they got it from, but they dug down deep and they polished off one team after another. Each win bring us a little bit back to life, each one giving us a little bit more hope for the future. Fueled by our need, they became the American League's its champ, then the American League's champ, and then they were in the World Series, where they made a valiant run and almost pulled it off. Everyone hates the Yankees. It's the team the whole country roots against. I grew up hating the Yankees too, but after that, I had to love them. This is what the sports writer meant by character. Character, the sports writers said, they know it when they see it. It's the ability to dig down and find the strength even when things are going against you. The very next day, Pedro Martinez, the dazzling but over-pampered Boston pitcher, showed what character meant by showing what it isn't. No one could have wanted this American League champion more than the Boston Red Sox. They hadn't won, they hadn't won a World Series in 85 years, ever since the curse of the Bambino. That is, ever since Sox owner Harry Freese sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees for money to finance a Broadway show. It was bad enough that he was selling the best left-handed pitcher in baseball, which Ruth was at the time, but he was selling him to the despised enemy. The Yankees went on to dominate baseball, winning, it seemed, endless World Series. Meanwhile, Boston made it to the four World Series and several playoffs, but they always lost. and they always lost in the most tragic way possible, by coming achingly near to victory and then having a meltdown. Here, finally, was another chance to fight off the course and defeat their arch rivals. If they won, they would have made that trip to the World Series and the Yankees would stayed home. Pedro Martinez was their hope. In fact, earlier in that season, he had cursed the course. Yet, after pitching a beautiful game, Martinez was losing his head and falling behind. What did he do then? He hit a batter with a ball. Karim, Karim Garcia threatened to beat another, Jorge Posada, and hurled a 72-year-old man to the ground, Yankee coach Don Zimmer. As New York Times writer Jack Corey wrote, he knew we were going to have Pedro versus Rogers Clemens on a memorable afternoon at Fenway Park, but no one expected to watch Pedro against Garcia, Pedro against Posada, Pedro against Zimmer. Even the Boston's writers were aghast. Dan Shaughnessy of the Globe asked, which one would you rather have now, Red Sox fans? Roger Clemens, who kept his composure and behaved like a professional Saturday night, winning the game for his team despite his obvious anger, or Martinez, the baby who hits a guy after he blows the lead, then points at his head and at Yankees catcher Jorge Posada, threatening, "You're next." Red Sox fans don't like to hear this, but Martinez was an embarrassment Saturday and a disgrace to baseball. He gets away with it because he's Pedro, and the Sox front office enables him. Could Martinez one time stand up and admit he's wrong? Like Billy Bean, Pedro Martinez did not know how to tolerate frustration, did not know how to dig down and turn an important setback into an important win. Nor like Billy Bean, he admit his faults and learn from them, because he threw his tantrum instead of doing the job. The Yankees won the game and went on to win the playoff by one game. Very well. Claudia, can you continue, please?
Okay, just a second. The sport writers on the plane agreed that character is all, but they confessed that they didn't understand where it come from. Yet I think that now we're getting the idea that character grows out of mindset. We know that there is a mindset in which people are immersed in the idea of their own talent and specialness. When things go wrong, they lose their focus and their ability putting everything they want, and in this case, everything the team and the fans so desperately want in jeopardy. We also know that there is a mindset that help people cope well with setbacks, point them good strategies, and leads them to act in their best interest. Wait, the story not over. 1 year later, the Sox and the Yankees went ahead again. Wherever
Whoever.
Whoever
Mhm.
won 4 games out of the seven will be the American League's champions and will take that trip to the World Series. The Yankees won the first 3 games, and Boston humiliating fate seemed sealed once again.
Humiliating.
Humiliating,
Humiliating.
humiliating.
Very good. Yes.
Okay. But that year, Boston had put their prima donnas on notice. They traded, one tried to try another, no one wanted him, and sent out the message. This is a team, not a bunch of stars. We work hard for each other. 4 games later, the Boston Red Sox were the American League champions and then the world champions. It was the first time since 1904 or see, 1904 that
Mm,
Boston had beaten the Yankees in a championship series, showing two things. First, that the course was over, and second, that character can be learned.
very good. Thank you very much, Claudia.
Okay, thank you.
Janet Camargo, can you read, please?
More about character. Character.
Character.
Le- character. Let's take in from to top with symptoms, samples, and the growth mindset in 12 to 200.
2000.
Sampras 2000. Sampras was Wimbledon, trying for his third Grand
13th.
Slam 13
Mhm.
Grand Slam tennis victory. He won he will break Roy Emerson records uh, of 12 wins in top. Pásenme la página.
In top tournaments. Okay.
In, in top tournaments. Although Sampras managed to make it on the finals, he had not player.
Sorry,
Me perdí.
ya te lo busco. Sampras lost his first set. He was about to lose a second set. He was down 4-1 in the tiebreaker. Even he said, I really felt like it was slipping away. I think that you were there.
No,
What
teacher.
would McEnroe have done? What would Pedro Martinez have done? Did Sampras do? Had William Roden put it? He searched for a frame of reference that carry him through. Sampras says, when you sit sitting on the chain over you think of past matches that you lost. The first sets come back and won. The next three, three time, three time.
There's
You
time.
reflect. There's time. You reflect on your past experience, being able to get through it.
Very good, Mom. Thank you very much. Julian, can you continue, please?
Okay. Suddenly, Sampras had a 5-point run. Then, two more. He had won the second set and he was alive. Last night, Roden says Sampras displayed all the qualities of the hero. The loss in the first set, vulnerability, near defeat, then, sorry,
Defeat.
defeat,
Uh-huh.
near defeat, then a comeback and a final triumph. Jackie Joyner Kersey took herself through an as- asta, astam, astama attack during her last World Championship. She was in the 800-meter race, the last event of the heptathlon. When she felt the attack coming on, just keep pumping your arms, she instructed herself. It's not that bad, so keep going. You can make it. You are not going to have a full blown attack. You have enough air. You have got this thing won. And just run as hard as you can in these last 200 meters, Jackie. She instructed herself all the way to victory. I have to say in I have to say this is my greatest triumph,
Triumph.
considering the my greatest
Triumph.
triumph. Triumph. Okay.
Uh-huh. Very good.
My greatest triumph, considering the competition and the ups and downs I was going through. If I really wanted, I had to put it together. In her last Olympics, the dreaded thing happened. A serious hamstring injury forced her to drop up out of the heptathlon. She was devastated. She was no longer a contender in her signature event, but would she be a contender in the long jump a few days later? Her first five jumps said no. There were nowhere near medal level, near medal level, but the sixth jump won her a bronze medal, more precious than her gold ones. More precious? Precious?
Precious. Yes, precious. My
Okay, more precious
precious.
than her gold ones. The strength for that sixth jump came from my assorted hair breaks over the years. I collected all my pains and turned them into one mighty performance.
Mhm.
Johnny Cares too display all the qualities of a hero: the loss, the vulnerability near
Defeat.
defeat, then a comeback and final triumph. Triumph. How is it?
No. Try.
Okay, triumph.
Very good.
Triumph.
Yes. Triumph.
Right.
Very well. Alejandra, can you continue with character, heart, will, and the mind of a champion, please?
Um, it goes by different names, but is the same thing. It's what makes your practice, and it's what allows you to dig down and pull it out when the most needs it. Moment. Uh, Remember how McGraw told told us all the things that went wrong to make him lose each match he lost. There was the time it was cold and the time it was hot, the time he was
Jealous.
jealous, and the times he was upset, and the many times he um, mom- que- aquí ya. Ah, he was distracted. But as Billie Jean King tell us, the mark of moment. Yeah, the mark of a champion is the ability to win when things are not quite right. When you're not playing well and your emotions are not the right ones. He- Here's who how. Here's how she learned what being a champion meant. King
Meant.
what meant?
Ujú.
Meant. Okay, what's mean? Meant.
Mean es en presente. Meant en pasado.
Okay, thank you. Meant. King was in the finals at Forest Hills playing against Margaret Smith. Later, Margaret Smith Court, who was at the peak of her greatness. King King had played uh, her more than a dozen
A dozen, yes.
a dozen times and had beaten her only once. In the first set, King played
Fabulously.
fabulously. She didn't miss a volley and bu- built
Built.
built built a nice lead. Sudden, suddenly, suddenly,
Ujú.
suddenly get around 3 times together. Jackie Joyner Kersey had her eureka moment too. She was 15 years old and competing in the heptathlon at the AAU Junior Olympics. Everything now depended on the last event, the eight. Uh,
Ah, yeah. I lost you for a second, sorry. The 800-meter race.
yes, this is 800-meter race. An event the no,
Dreaded.
dreaded. She was She was exhausted, and she was competing against an expert distance runner whose
Us,
time
yes.
she had never made matched match.
Ujú.
She did this time. I felt a kind of height. I
Kind.
kind. I feel a kind of height. I proven that could win if I wanted it badly enough. That win show that win showed me that I could not only compete with the best athletes in the country. I could will myself to win. Often called the best woman soccer player in the world. Mia Hamm says she was always asked, Mia, what is the most important thing for a soccer player to have? With no hesitation, she answered, mental thoughtness,
Thoughtness.
and she didn't mean some innate trait. When even players want to knock you down when you're tried or injured,
Injured.
injured, or tried or injured. When the refers are against you, you can't let any of it affect your focus. How do you do that? You have to learn now how. No, híjole. Repeat. You have to learn how. It is. Say it. Next, please. Thank you. Said Ham, one of the most difficult aspects of soccer and the one struggle with every game and every practice.
Very good, Alejandra. Thank you very much. By the way, did Ham think she was the greatest player in the world? No. And because of that, she said, someday I just might be. In sports, there are always do or die situations when a player must come through or it's all over. Jack Nicklaus, the famed golfer, was in these situations many times in his long professional career. Okay, wait. We are starting like in the story of another guy. By I just might be. In sports, there are always do or die situations when a player must come through or it's all over. Jack Nicklaus, the famed golfer, was in this situation many times in his long professional career on the PGA Tour, where the tournament rested on his making a must-have shot. If you had to guess, how many of these shots do you think he missed? The answer is one. One. That's the champion mentality. It's how people who are not as talented as their opponents win games. John Wooden, the legendary basketball coach, tells one of my favorite stories. Once, while Wooden was still a high school coach, a player was unhappy because he wasn't included in the big game. The player, Eddie Pawelski, begged Wooden to give him a chance, and Wooden relented. All right, Eddie, he said. I'll give you a chance. I'll start you against Fort Wayne Centrals tomorrow night. Suddenly, Wooden tells us. I wonder where those words came from. Three teams were locked in battle for number one in Indiana. One was his team and another was Fort Wayne Central tomorrow night's team. Okay, wait. I am not going to finish reading this today, but I want to let the note because this story starts here. That's the championship mentality. So we are in page 95 in the part where it says that's the championship mentality. Very well. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for being here tonight, Night Owls. Hope you have a very good night's sleep. Review. You'll have the video.
Okay, Erikmar, thank you. I have
Okay.
a little question. I don't know
Yes.
if you could help me with that. In the last page, you can see, if you scroll up, you can see in the final of a sentence of
In the last
a
page.
phrase. In the last part of the page, you see that there is a phrase that is, I could will myself to win. I could will.
Yes.
This will is, it's a verb, right? Or
Yes. Remember that will in English is used as voluntad. Will tiene dos significados. Lo utilizas para poner en futuro cualquier verbo como auxiliar, pero también puede ser utilizado como verbo como tal y significa voluntad. Entonces me puse la voluntad de, es que se me perdió lo que me dices. Al final de este,
arriba, no, arriba, eso.
arriba.
Arriba. Ahí está. Al final, I could will myself to win.
To will myself to win. Sí, me pongo a mí en la voluntad de ganar.
Ay,
Podría.
Sí, yo me podría poner a mí misma en la voluntad de ganar.
Ok, yo me podría
Ujú.
poner a mí mismo. Ok, perfecto.
Very well. Thank you for the question, Julián.
Gracias, sí, yo creo que a todos nos sirve.
Sí, no había visto eso.
Sí.
Sí, tienes razón. Bueno, muchas gracias. Feliz noche.
Have a
Feliz-
very good night. Bye bye.
Bye bye.